Greetings. This is your brother L Blacklight, Elder Blacklight, the motivator, soul schooling. We're going to have a spotlight put on brother Otim LaRib. He had a piece way back in November 94, November the 17th, 94, called The Con in the Constitution. Now, this brother researches, and we encourage all my audience to research, have a hood research or a home research, family research, teens in your churches. You want to get to the bottom of why things is happening like they're happening. So we're going to put the spotlight on this brother Otim LaRib.
Our people from the people who can do it the best. And we're fortunate tonight, and we want to come to our feet and welcome again the featured speaker of the night, Brother Otim LaRib. Give him a black hand.
Give thanks. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Sometimes it's good to get those applause and accolades at the beginning, because a lot of times when you get through throwing this information out, people don't feel too good about that. All right? But giving thanks to the Creator and to our ancestors and to you for being out tonight, hopefully I can share some information with you that will do you some good, that can be a working tool as we sojourn here in what has been the hells of North America. We need all of the tools and all of the information we can get to work with, not just to listen to and feel good and shout about, but to do something with, to make a positive change in our lives, because we have gotten it. And my topic this evening, what I want to spin off from, because there are so many things that are relative, is the con in the Constitution, or the con and the Constitution, which is which. And this is what we want to examine tonight. I felt that it was appropriate to follow up with Brother Copley the other night, who gave out some serious information, and just following up on what he said, not to reiterate what he said, but to build up on that, to give you even better understanding, those who were here. I chose this tonight. It's been rather revealing to me. It's something that I have embarked upon studying intensely, along with the other things that I study, because everything is so interrelated. African history, world history, then we get into this government and our government. When I say our government as African people, how does this relate to us? You know, we've been told that the Constitution doesn't apply to us. Then if you don't have the supreme law of the land, then what do you have as we're in this land? One thing I've heard as I've listened to some of the eminent professors, teachers, Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben Yachnin, but especially Dr. Clark. I've listened to him for quite a while, and I've listened very intently to what he had to say. And he talked about our ordeal, this thing that we've come through called the slave era. I mean, it was a traumatic experience. We're still reeling from its repercussions. We're still in a recovery state. And this is why I think that this information is very vital. Because without information, you, as the brother said, you can't form a plan. I mean, what you got to go on? I was in service to the beast at one time in the military, and I was with an outfit that was a recon outfit. And recon is short for reconnaissance. And reconnaissance means information gathering. They had an outfit, a unit, with no guns or anything. All they did was go out and get information. They had pictures. They had airplanes with pictures we call RF-4Cs, and they had high pans and low pans. They could get wide views, low views, but they had to have something concrete to take back so that the fellows with the muscle could go in and tear things up. You know, wreak his havoc. But they had to have that information before we can really do anything, before we can really strategize and formulate any plan of quote-unquote attack. You've got to have some reconnaissance information. The cavalry had them. They call them scouts. We have to go out and scout and know what's going on. We need to know who's who and what's what. And so tonight I have some information that I'd like to share with you. First of all, I'd like to give some background, to make some preface remarks. I'd like to start off, and as I studied this information dealing with the Constitution and government, and as Dr. Clark said, as I started to mention a while ago, he always mentioned to say that we are a politically naive people. Now I know if you got a voter's registration card and you vote every trip and you politically active, you don't think that you are. Well, you may not be. You may be more upon what I'm talking about tonight than I am. So therefore, if you are, I want you to rescue me, as Karinga said, rescue me if I'm wrong. What I'm about to present to you tonight, please don't misconstrue it as being legal advice. I am not an attorney. If you have a legal problem, I suggest that you get competent and straight up advice from a good lawyer. All right? Honest, very good, brother. An honest lawyer. All right? I'll leave that up to you. Now that is about as rare today as a real dollar. All right?
Listen.
I didn't say it didn't exist. I just said it's rare. And a lot of times it's rare in our community because, as the brother mentioned earlier about Fanar, we've imitated and parroted the beast so much until many times in action it's hard to distinguish who is who. So I want to start out tonight digging again into the life and times of Frederick Douglass. You see that I have all these books and papers up here. I don't know how to travel light. I always bring too much. But then I found it was better than not having enough. A lot I'll run through tonight. I'm not going to get every reference and quote it for you, but if you have a question, you can ask me at some point in time this evening, and hopefully I can give you a satisfactory answer and a reference, satisfactory reference that will lead you into others. But what I want to give to you tonight is food for thought and grounds for further research. As I said, I'm not representing the final word, but I'm just turning you on to what lit my fire. All right? And I have began to take some positive actions. I have began to utilize this information that I have, not just for the sake of knowing. I have jumped in the arena with the beast to fight him with his own stuff, as they say.
Listen.
And hopefully this will, in some way, the information tonight will empower you to fight. In some way, to fight. It will strengthen you somewhat, or let me say strengthen us. In the sense that Frederick Douglass was talking about in the life and times, he made a statement. He was sent to a farm to be broken, to have his spirit broken, because it seemed that he was somewhat impudent. Main thing, he wanted to learn how to read. That was the main thing he wanted to do. He wanted to know, what did the letters say. So he was sent to a man by the name of Covey. And Covey was known as a notorious slave breaker. And Covey, he bought urine on everybody that approached him. Just the way he was. He'd give you a beating 2 or 3 times a day, whether you needed it or not. But the idea was to break your spirit, to break your will to fight against him. You know, we're given little cliches like, you can't fight City Hall. You can fight them and win. We got brothers and sisters in our midst who are beginning to do that, fighting and winning. Who said you can't fight City Hall? City Hall is where we catch a lot of hell from. You better be able to fight them and win. But there's a Calypsonian by the name of Shadow who has a song that says, somebody keep fooling somebody. So if you want to learn how to conquer, you got to first learn how to do what? fight.
That's right.
So don't expect to conquer if you don't know how to fight and what to fight with. And don't look, as the brother was talking about earlier, from justice from unjust people. You can have just laws, but unjust people supposed to be enforcing them, you're still not going to get what's yours. And if you're not belligerent enough to stand up on your rights, your God-given, your creator-given rights. I'm not talking about any validation from any white people. What I'm talking about is natural things, natural laws.
Dig it.
Okay? But anyway, Frederick Douglass he was sent to this slave breaker. And after several floggings, all right, he got tired of it. So Frederick Douglass ran away. But in running away, he really had nowhere to run to. He just ran. He knew he had to get out from under that beating so he could think. And after being in the woods for a while, and his stomach started suing his backbone for non-support, meaning that he was hungry, he said, well, it seems that if I stay out here, I'm going to die. If I go back, I'll die. So rather than starve to death, I'd rather take my chances going back and facing this beast. So he went back, and when he came up on him, Frederick Douglass realized that, hey, he had 2 hands, 2 fists, and he had just as much force and just as much power as any white man that came up against. The only thing Frederick Douglass was lacking, he said, was reading. He needed to know how to read. So when COVID came out,
this is very interesting. To be continued.